It's Tuesday and it's time for Falcon Focus. Falcon Focus is back here in 2023. It is episode number 13 here in season number 4. Our first, though, episode here in semester number 2. My name is Matt Mendel. Great to have you back with us for Falcon Focus here on Tuesdays. And in segment number 2, our focus will be on ACHA hockey. They have a great weekend, a big weekend coming up against the St. Thomas Tommies. And we'll talk with one of their seniors and forward, Alex Way. But up first, we talk men's basketball, and they just came off the road in Seward, Nebraska, the 70th Concordia Invitational Tournament. Happy to be joined by senior guard Grant Karsten. Grant, thanks a lot for your time. Thanks for being with us. And you look at CIT, and you're one of the few guys that's on the current Concordia men's basketball roster that had any kind of prior CIT experience. That was back in January of 2020 in River Forest, Illinois, and then CIT was postponed back-to-back years thanks to COVID. So I guess picking your brain a little bit, how would you go about describing what CIT is, what it all entails outside of just basketball itself?
Yeah, I mean, it was a great experience down in Nebraska this past weekend. Like you mentioned, there's just three of us that went down in Chicago and had it in freshman year. It's been canceled the last couple of years, so no one really knew what kind of atmosphere it brings, except for a couple of us there, and definitely the Seward fans and the Seward as a whole just really comes out and brings their whole community out to the game. So thankfully we got that win against Ann Arbor Friday night, and then was able to play in the championship game against Seward, and they just really packed the house. So just an environment that not many people have played in, and there's just so much history that goes into it within the Concordias and just the Lutheran church as a whole.
How would you describe the atmosphere from this past weekend?
It was just electric. I mean, I think there's just a lot of emotions. Having a big fan bus and a band come down, that was really cool. Made the 8.5 hour trip. But for a lot of those students, like, they know people from different Concordias. They know friends that they went to high school with, that went to Seward or Ann Arbor or whatever. So they're able to kind of connect with those people, and they have a lot of pride in their Concordias as well. Certainly as I do as well. So just to be able to win a game there and just to compete for the CIT was a really cool experience.
As you mentioned, the Karsten family does in fact have a strong history involved with CIT, and you can read a great story that was written for CUWFalcons.com, and it certainly lays out a number of both women's basketball and men's basketball players that have a history or a family history involved with CIT. 3 generations now for the Karsten family, huh, playing CIT?
Yeah. I mean, I grew up, hearing all my dad's stories about when he played for Seward, late 80s, early 90s, and they won 4 CITs back then, and they had some success in the NAIA national tournament as well. But and my grandpa, he played for the seminary that back when it started, so his coach was the one who kind of started the whole CIT tournament back in the St. Louis seminary. So he has all these stories about when they played River Forest and, a good game that he might have before the three-point line existed and everything like that. So having both of them there was really special for me and my family too.
You mentioned your dad. He played at Concordia, Nebraska from 1988 through 1992, and you mentioned the word special. How special was it playing at Seward, Nebraska, where your dad played? Now, granted, a different gym, but still being on that campus.
Right. I'd only been there once before, but just to be in that same atmosphere was really cool. We had a shoot around in his old gym, and his old college coach was there, and a lot of his teammates was there. His roommate was like the athletic director, Zeke Hahn's uncle, actually. So just all those things built together, it was really special for him, but also really cool for me too.
It was fun to follow your dad on social media. I know he was posting a lot of photos, and great to have him there. I know when he can't get to the games, he's watching back home and tweeting out, or at least posting Facebook photos from the TV. Great supporter of Falcon men's basketball. So he went to Concordia, Nebraska. How did you end up at Concordia, Wisconsin?
They have a much more beautiful campus than Seward, Nebraska, right? No, it was closer to home, and, I really, like the basketball program. They've had a lot of success under Coach Cassidy in the last couple of years before I had made my decision. But, they have a great business school and a great atmosphere. So looking back, I would not have made a different decision. It's been a great time here for sure.
No question it's been unique when you throw COVID into the picture, but when you look at your time here at Concordia, your thoughts on life here on the Mequon campus?
It's been great. I mean, just being to be able to be involved with a lot of different things, obviously being part of men's basketball here, but also being part of residence life and, some campus ministry activities and stuff, as well as the business program. Just it's unique to be able to be a part of all that. I don't think you'd find that at a bigger school for sure, but certainly the men's basketball has been a highlight.
Obviously, you mentioned with your dad, with your grandpa, basketball has probably been a way of life, and you probably got exposed to the sport at a very early age. What other sports did you attempt to play or did play growing up?
Yeah, I played football and track growing up. Definitely liked football in high school, but basketball was definitely the biggest one. I remember playing my brother growing up and getting beat a lot in the driveway, but wouldn't trade that for the world.
So when it came time to thinking about college, did you ever consider playing another sport, or was it always, hey, if I'm going to play a sport in college, it's going to be basketball?
Yeah, pretty much all basketball. I really liked football in high school, but I don't think you could really replicate, the Friday night atmosphere or anything like that with high school football. So it's always kind of basketball.
When you look back at your prep days at Decatur Lutheran down in Illinois, I mean, you were the man. When you look at your resume in basketball, you scored a school record, 1,901 points. When it came to football, you're part of a football team your junior year that produced the best season that the school has had on the gridiron. You had all kinds of success inside the classroom. When you think back to your prep days, what are some of your top high school memories?
Oh, man, it would definitely have to be those high school basketball days. We had a really good team my junior year, and we had the best record in school history. I think they might beat it this year, actually. But just being a part of that team and just the friends you're making along the way, same thing with here at Concordia. But, the high school days, those are some of my best friends for sure.
Was it a challenging transition for you? Okay, so you go from your senior year in high school, I mean, you're scoring 20-plus points on a nightly basis, to then you become a freshman at the collegiate level, a different role, and you're working your way back up. Is that a challenge, making that transition from being the top guy to being in the rotation?
Yeah, I knew that coming in. Coach Cassidy expected me to be a catch-and-shoot guy right off the bat. So just being a part of that team freshman year, that was a really special year for us when we were able to make a run in the NAC tournament and go to the NCAA tournament. Just to be a part of that team and to be, have a couple minutes on the floor and hit a few shots along the way, I wouldn't trade that for sure, even if it meant being, the best player on a worse team.
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's talk about roles for a second and what you feel your role on this season's team is, and maybe how has it differed or changed over the years?
Yeah, it's always just been the shooter, but I think it's kind of evolved into, doing what else we need on the floor. Thankfully, we've had a lot of successful guys over the years, in the last couple of years, being around the same group with Jordan and Joey and BK and all them. But this year is no different. We have a lot of talented guys with Gabe and Freeman, and obviously Jared's still back. And,
sure.
You think Matt and Sam. There's just a lot of talent on the roster. So I think everyone by now especially knows their role. And, we're pretty content with that when things are going well, for sure.
And you've had some special moments along the way, and one that jumps out from this season was a 25-point game that was down in Florida against Maryville, a team out of Tennessee. You knocked down 7 3-point field goals. What are your memories from that performance?
That was a cool trip. We just got back down to Florida, and it was in this big arena, so you never know how you're going to shoot there, but to be able to knock a few down was really cool, and just have teammates that kept finding me was cool too.
I feel like we've talked about this in the past on some of those post-game interviews, but for you as a shooter, when that first three goes in, that second three goes in, do you have a pretty good sense early on of what kind of game it could be for you versus, hey, if that first shot doesn't go down, it may be a long night?
Right, yeah, you don't want to put too much pressure on that first couple shots, but there's some truth to that for sure. When the first one or two goes in, I just think the next 4 or 5 are going to go in too, but if they don't go in, then, you're still searching for that one. But that's just part of being a shooter.
Did you have that feel against Maryville where just, okay, the first one went and the second one went? I mean, you had 8 shots, 7 over 3-pointers. Did it have that feel where, man, I can't miss. I'm in rhythm today?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a really cool feeling. Definitely one that I'm going to miss.
We talk about that 3-point shot. That's been a big part of your game and throughout your time, whether it be as a Falcon prior to 107 threes and 83 career games as a Falcon. When did you first start becoming a 3-point assassin?
Definitely in high school. But then coming to college is a big transition, honestly, because, the extended 3-point line, the faster pace of the game. Then after my freshman year, they extended it even more. So getting used to that, extra foot and a half was a little bit of a transition as well as the pace of the game.
Right now, as a team, the Falcons have 6 victories, 13 defeats, having more success as of late seeing that ball go their direction, the ball bounce their direction, and number of players graduated from last year. So let's start there. Did it take a little bit of time, at least when you look back at November, December, for this team just to gel? Obviously, players taking on bigger roles, different roles this year.
Yeah, absolutely. It was kind of a bumpy start at the beginning as we were just, learning how to play together in new roles, like you're saying. But there's a lot of games that were just really close at the beginning. I think if we could go back, we'd have a few of those games back and a few of those final possessions back even too. And that could, really make the difference of where we're at right now. But obviously you can't control that, so just got to keep working hard, and, we're not going to give up anytime soon.
And I'd argue that this is one of the best 6-13 teams you can have. I mean, when you watch them play, there is no gimme, and Marion found that out firsthand last week here inside the John Book Fieldhouse. I want to talk about that game for a second because Marion came in first place. Falcons able to come away with a thrilling overtime victory. What was key in that win?
I think we just had a lot of guys contributing. I think everyone had a pretty good game. I think of Matt Levine especially. It was a tight game all the way through, but he had a nice left-hand layup to send us to overtime. So there's big moments, big shots like that, really set us through. But I don't think that was a surprise to us at all. I think we know the team that we are and the teams we can beat, like Marion.
And he did last week, and then as mentioned, on to CIT and came away with a victory against Concordia Ann Arbor. You had 23 points. Fell in the championship game, but certainly competed against tough Concordia Nebraska squad. So I guess when you look at the way this team is playing right now, is it just more comfort? Is it confidence? What's been the difference from now versus the beginning of the year?
Yeah, I think confidence plays a big role into it. Just knowing where everyone's going to be, what they're going to be doing. And I think we've had our tests along the way, losing close games, playing in Nebraska, playing against a hostile crowd and everything. So I think that really sets us up well for these next couple of weeks. And, we can just control what we can control and never know what happens in the NAC.
And you bring up next few weeks. That's all that's left here in the regular season. 5 games. That stretch begins tonight at St. Norbert. Won't be home again until Senior Day against Edgewood coming up on Saturday, the 11th of February. So you mentioned it, though, and let's stretch that out a little bit further. What is the mindset? What is the approach now? Is it still one game at a time? Is it just, hey, let's end this season on a high? What is the mindset going into these final few weeks?
We just want to win. We had our share of losses already, so we just want to go out on top, especially these big games against St. Norbert and, whoever it comes next. But, St. Norbert's one that we really want to win just because of our, close games in the past couple of years.
I don't know if it does to you, but it does for me. It feels like this season has just flown by. Just 5 games left. I mean, it seems like it just started.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to believe.
Yeah, I mean, I think they all fly by, but especially this year being my last year, it's just – I don't know where time's gone. It feels like we're just starting, the fall process of open gyms and workouts and all that, and here we are.
Yeah, and hard to believe only a couple of home dates remain. And obviously you haven't done this maybe yet perhaps, but you will at some point when you reflect back on your time at Concordia with Concordia basketball. I guess just to put you on the spot, when you think about your Concordia basketball career and hopefully more moments to come here in these last few weeks. But what stands out to you? What are some of the top highlights from being with the Falcon men's basketball team?
Yeah, I think the first one that comes to mind, we talked about it a little bit, but was that run freshman year. Just really cool for all of us here that we were able to play in front of a home crowd against MSOE in the NAC championship and win that game. That was probably the most people I've seen in a gym that I've played in, with the overflow seating and everything like that. So that's probably one that definitely stands out. We had the season championship last year. We won a couple big games there too. And CIT this year is a highlight as well.
You go back to that run to the NCAA tournament, which end up seeing the Falcons play in the first round at UW Platteville. Are those two of the louder games you've been involved in? You look at the MSOE game here, certainly this place was packed. You go to Platteville, the fans are right on top of you. That place was packed. It just seemed like, back-to-back games, those are some pretty, you used the word earlier with CIT, electric. Those are pretty electric atmospheres, were they not?
Yeah, absolutely. And I throw the Marion game last year, the NAC championship game as well. There's just, just be able to play in those environments is so cool. I think that's why we, do a lot of these hard works. Coach Cassie made the comment this past weekend before our Seward game of this is fun. Like this is what we want to be. This is where we expect to be too.
And I know the fan support's been phenomenal here for the men's basketball team. Hope to see you out here inside the John Book Fields with only 2 more home games left here in the regular season. But as far as your career goes, okay, so you mentioned you're done after this season as far as basketball goes. So what are the future plans? What's next after basketball for you?
Well, we got graduation and then a wedding actually in May.
Ooh, congrats.
Thank you. So after basketball's over, they'll pretty much fly by until those 2 big events. But just really looking forward to that transition and starting my life there.
For you, what's your major? And on this note, what's your major? What do you hope to do with that major?
Major's finance. Actually just accepted a job at U.S. Bank down in Milwaukee. Thank you. So for a mutual fund administrator position, we had a guy actually who played basketball here who's in that department as well. So I'll be working with him a little bit too.
Boy, you have a lot going on.
Yeah.
A lot of exciting stuff, though.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Yeah, very. Thank you.
Well, Grant, appreciate your time. All the best these last few weeks on the basketball court. And again, the Falcon men's basketball team will be in action tonight at St. Norbert. Not home again until February 11th against Edgewood. But when we come back here on our first edition of Falcon Focus here in semester number 2, our focus turns to ACHA hockey. We'll talk with Alex Way.
Since 1978, Lutheran Church Extension Fund has had the humble privilege of supporting the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod in fulfilling its mission of sharing the gospel.
Thanks to our faithful investors, we provided thousands of church workers, congregations, schools, and organizations with the resources they need to reach more people with the saving name of Christ. It's what we do.
Because our greatest joy comes from seeing LCMS Ministries and her workers thrive, we will continue to make precious resources available, both today and far into the future. It's our promise to you.
We are Lutheran Church Extension Fund.
We are Lutheran Church Extension Fund.
We are Lutheran Church Extension Fund. We want to be part of your great and exciting work.
Welcome back to this week's edition of Falcon Focus, back here for semester number 2 with our 13th episode here in season number 4. And again, happy to be with you here in 2023. Our focus now on ACHA hockey, and happy to be joined by senior forward Alex Way. And he, along with the ACHA hockey team, getting it done here this winter, and perhaps the best still to come. But let's go back to Friday, Alex. And you guys were in Chicago taking on the DePaul Blue Demons. Came away with a hard-earned 5-3 win to lay claim to the NCHL Black Division title, the first conference title in the ACHA's program's history. Take us through just the ups and downs and the ups again of that game.
We came out hard to begin, and then we kind of sat back a little bit, got a little comfortable, and they were able to get back in the game. And then in the third period, our power play took over like it has all season, and we came up top. So we were happy as a team, but we knew that we didn't give it our all and could have done a little bit better. So I think we showed that on Saturday.
You mentioned power play, and this is a ACHA team that came through with 7 power play goals when they scored 8 a couple of weeks ago in a home game against Illinois State. So, man, they've been locked in. But when you look at, okay, so you guys beat DePaul 5-3, brought home the title. What was the I guess, attitude in that locker room afterwards, knowing that at least that's step one of what you ultimately have hoped to accomplish here this season, but just to know that you at least check that box off that, hey, you brought home the conference title?
Yeah, to be quite honest, that no one actually knew that
really
we won that title. So we kind of just checked our phones after the game, and a couple of guys were like, oh, like, here it is. And then it's just something that we never really talked about. I mean, at the start of the year, we came up with the goal of making national championship tournament. We're almost there. So that's really all we've been focusing on all year. So
let the record show, though, the team did go 10-0 in NCHL Black Division play. Great job. And then capping it off with a victory Saturday against DePaul, battling a snowstorm. Bravo to the Blue Demons for they all drove separately, a carpool up, and they made it in time for the game, or delayed slightly. But take us through that game where 6-4 victory for the Falcons, jumped out to a 4-0 lead. Strong start. Very strong start.
Again, kind of like Friday, strong start. Lead maybe getting to our head, and we're sitting back a little bit. So I think Coach Say made a point to play a full 60 minutes from here on out. So I know this weekend will be huge for that, and if we don't play a full 60, we could be in trouble.
We'll talk about the St. Thomas series in a moment, but when you look at this season, how challenging has it been at times maybe to put together a full 60? Because as you mentioned, I think it's easy sometimes to fall into that, hey, we're up 4 or 5 goals, which has been somewhat of the norm this season. So how difficult has it been maybe to stay focused at times?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when you're winning 13, 12-0 during the intermissions, it's kind of hard to stay focused. I mean, guys kind of talk and get off course a little bit, but when it comes down to it, we know what we need to do, and we seem to find a way to always get back into games.
With that being said, this team has not trailed very often this season. When it's happened, I have to believe, and you can tell us better, there's no panic in this team, is there, with the kind of offensive power this team produces?
No, I think we just know what kind of team we are. We have a lot of confidence. We come to the rink thinking we're going to win, and we kind of have that swagger, if you will, of we're going to win tonight. So just a lot of confidence, and I think that goes a long way into our team's success.
What's it like to play on the same line with such proven offensive players such as Lucas Cruiser? You have Ian Malcolmson, among others. What's it like to play alongside those guys on that line?
It's been awesome. I mean, Cruiser sees the ice so well, and he just always seems to find the way to get me the puck, and I've been lately just putting it in. Sam Weiss, our centerman, he's really the workhorse on our line. He gets it done in the defensive zone and gets us the puck, and then in the offensive zone, he's often the first guy on the forecheck, and just working hard for us to kind of get open and work our magic.
You mentioned Sam Weiss. He came through with a couple of goals, including the game winner against DePaul on Saturday. And what I love about this team, too, is you guys play unselfish hockey. It seems like nobody cares who scores the goal as long as the goal is scored, and that puck movement left and right, great puck control.
For sure, yeah. I mean, I think just we have such a great bond in the dressing room. Everyone gets along so well that we really don't care who's scoring. One night it's our line, the other night's a different line. We're just happy to win games, and like I said, we just want to make it to that national championship, and then we don't really care how that happens.
Has that bond been there since day one, or did it take a little bit of time to grow?
I think with the situation that we were in, a lot of guys came down from the D3 team. So I think at first it was a little bit weird dynamic, but a couple weeks, and then everyone was getting along and hanging out. So it's been good.
We'll talk about that transition in a second, too. But right now, the Falcons, 25 victories, 6 defeats, the 25 wins, ties a program record. The ACHA team also winning 25 games during the 2019-2020 season. Ranked 3rd in the region, 7th in the nation. Outside of all the scoring, in your opinion, what has been key to this team's success this season?
I think just we seem to work hard every night, especially at home. I mean, I think we're 10-0 at home, so we're not losing at home. I just think we have a lot of confidence. It started from the start of the year. We started off with a tough loss, and I think that was our reality check for the season, where this isn't going to be as easy as we think, and we came together as a unit of one, and since then we kind of haven't looked back.
And right now on home ice, 13-0, 15 straight home wins dating back to last season. There's a comfort to play on home ice, is there not?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's just nice playing in front of our students, parents who come out. I just think that it's more of a natural feeling for us. I mean, we practice there every day, so we know the rink very well. The ice is always good, so it's just nice to play at home.
Yeah, and you talk about the fan support, great fan support. It seems like on a nightly basis. Even during the snowstorm on Saturday, it didn't stop people from coming out. It was a great turnout for that win against DePaul. You mentioned it, though, and you look at this roster, a number of guys making that move from NCAA Division III to this ACHA program. For you, was that a big adjustment, or is hockey hockey?
I mean, yeah, hockey's hockey. I show up to play. I'm not a guy that takes it too seriously. I like to have fun in the dressing room outside of the rink. I'm pretty easygoing, so I show up to play hockey, and that's pretty much it for me.
Well, you look like you're having fun out there, and the results have followed. You have 38 goals, 32 assists so far in 30 games this winter. You've had 5 hat-trick performances. Have you been happy with the way you've been performing?
For sure. I mean, it's nice to have that production, but at the end of the day, all I care about is winning. And I mean, the points and stuff is nice, but I much rather win a game than have a bunch of points and lose or something like that.
Well, let me ask you this then. When you look at this season, is there one game, is there a performance that's standing out among the rest? Obviously, you're hoping for bigger and better things still to come, but at least at this point in the season, is there a game or a performance that's standing out among the rest?
I think our weekend at Shrine, just as a whole team, was huge. Going there to play 2 games is not easy, and they're a good team. They were ranked 3rd, and we were able to win, and we lost one in overtime, which I think we wish we could have back, but we were still able to make that jump in the rankings, which is helping us a lot.
You're from Ottawa. Are you a Senators fan?
I am. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
How do you know the Concordia?
I had a buddy that I played junior hockey with that came here, and we were still in contact, and I ended up coming for a visit, and I thought this was a good fit for me.
Did you know anything about Wisconsin or Mequon, Wisconsin prior?
No, nothing at all.
What are your thoughts now?
I love it here.
Do you like this weather?
Well, not right now, but I mean, I'm pretty used to it. In Ottawa, the weather's a lot worse, so these snowstorms haven't been too bad for me.
You know, it's a whopping -3 degrees as we tape this outside. Luckily, we're here indoors, but is it safe to assume that you started playing hockey at a very early age?
Yeah, I think I started skating when I was 3 and organized hockey at 4, so I've been playing for a while now.
Did you play any other sports growing up?
I tried the classic soccer, baseball, stuff like that, but hockey was always my number one.
I got to believe, at least growing up, there's probably a pond or at least a rink close by at all turns. Maybe not?
Yeah, I mean, we have outdoor rinks pretty much in every neighborhood. So Saturday morning was to the local rink for practice, and in the afternoon we'd be on the outdoor rink as a family playing.
What is it about hockey that you love? What do you find frustrating about the sport?
I think I love just creating friendships and memories. I mean, hockey at the end of the day is a pretty small world, and the bonds you create with your teammates last a lifetime. And I just don't like losing in hockey. So,
well, you brought up, okay, so you skated and played in the morning, family in the afternoon. Did you have family members that played hockey?
Yeah, so my dad played when he was growing up. My brother played, so I kind of just followed suit and played, and we just always had fun together growing up, going to hockey. Everyone was going to the rink together, and it was kind of a family event.
Always a forward? Did you try other positions?
Always a forward.
So how did that come about? Did your dad play that position, brother? Just that's natural
I don't know.
fit?
Yeah, just started as a forward and stayed as a forward.
So when you bring up just hockey and growing up in Canada, for those that maybe down here in the States don't understand, how big of a deal is hockey in Canada?
I mean, it's huge. All my friends played. I mean, the hockey talk is always around the city. There's rinks at, like I said, every neighborhood has an outdoor rink or a local rink. You're not traveling too far to play hockey. So,
bringing it back to the here and now here at Concordia, and mention when you look at the road ahead, just 2 regular season games left. Friday, Saturday at the Ozaki Ice Center against the St. Thomas Tommies. Friday's at 9:45 p.m. Saturday at 2:30 in the afternoon. And when you look at the regional rankings right now, the Falcons, at least as of last week, sit at number 3. St. Thomas just above at number 2. An auto bid to the ACHA Nationals is on the line. Your thoughts on the importance of this upcoming weekend?
I mean, it's a must-win weekend for us, and we know that. So this is a big week for practice for us, and Friday, Saturday will be some good hockey. So we're excited, and we're hoping to come on top.
How do you guys go about preparing for the different teams you see? Is there film, is there stats? Is it more just focused on you guys?
Yeah, I think we're at the point in the season where we know what we need to do to win. We have that confidence, like I said earlier, so it's really at the end of the day, we're going to beat ourselves if we don't win this weekend. If we get into penalty troubles and things like that, that'll hurt us. But other than that, I think if we play our game, I think we'll come on top.
How about for you? And mentioned you're listed as a senior. Is it for you then this season?
Yeah.
So what's next?
Looking for a job. Time to put my big boy pants on and go to work.
Are you staying down here or are you going back home?
I'm looking to stay down here, but I'm applying for jobs around here and back home. So being a Canadian, it's a little harder to get a job out here.
to wrap it up, I ask all of our seniors that come on this program, what is your major? What do you hope to do with it one day?
I'm in business sports entertainment, and I just want to work in the sport industry.
Have you had some great experiences so far?
Yeah. I mean, over the summer, I did my internship back home for my junior hockey team that I played for. So I was an assistant coach for their summer program. So I was able to learn a lot there, and I'm hoping to bring that knowledge somewhere else.
Alex, all the best. Best luck this weekend to you and the team, and obviously on your future endeavors. But thanks for coming on.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And again, be out there at the Ozaki Ice. And if you haven't seen the ACHA hockey team, you're missing out. It's fun to watch and offensively explosive. This team can score at will, and hopefully that will be the case this weekend. Friday, 9:45 p.m., Saturday, 2:30 in the afternoon. They need you. St. Thomas will be the opponent. Big-time matchups coming up again. The stakes are high for the auto bid of the ACHA National. So that's Alex Way. We also thank Grant Karsten for joining us during our first segment talking men's basketball. And we thank you for joining us for our first edition of Falcon Focus here in 2023. We'll talk to you again next Tuesday.